What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daily Walk with Lance. This is where I take my morning Bible devotional. I take some notes down, then I upload it and share it with you guys. Like I say before every video, please don't view me as a spiritual leader, pastor, prophet, nothing like that. I'm just an average Joe trying to put more Jesus on the internet and proving to other average Joes that they can put more Jesus into their life. Sorry I'm a little late today. What I thought would take 2 hours ended up taking like 4, so I am definitely a couple hours late. And if you're seeing this now, I'm probably gonna go live like as soon as this uploads. But by the time it uploads to all the platforms, so about 20-30 minutes after this goes live, I will be live on my Rumble channel, which is rumble.com/ragelb, and it's just gaming, but with a Christian, family friendly kind of thing. Like, there's stuff in the game that you can't help, but as far as like the person playing it, I try to make it, and I try to make it to where it's more on the side of anybody can watch it. And you're not gonna worry, you're not gonna worry about, oh, what did he just say, and it'd be like you be playing it on the TV or something. But anyway, let's just get right into it. Like I said, I'm running way behind today. This is the Bible devotional for February 26th. As always, I'm in the New American Standard Bible. We are in the book of James, chapter 1, and then verses 2 through 8, and then 12 through 18. Because 9 through 11, it took me a little bit, I kind of understand it now, but when I was doing this, I was like, it felt like it didn't fit. And then after I always do a little bit of research after every devotional just to make sure I'm on the right track. And then when I did my research, I was like, wow, I could have included those verses now. But James is also, for greater context, he was the head of the Jerusalem church, and he was the half brother of Jesus. So this is what he says: Consider it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. But if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously um, uh, and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But he must ask in faith without any doubting. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For that person ought not be or for that person ought not to expect that he will receive anything from the Lord, being a double-minded man, uh, unstable in all his ways. And then here's where we skip to verse 12. Blessed is a man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. No one is to say when tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Oh, hold on, I said that wrong. But each one is tempted when he is carried away, like you get carried away. Not like physical carry. You get like, you talk instead of thinking. Carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it has run its course, brings forth death. Do not be deceived, my beloved brothers and sisters. Every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shifting shadows. In in the exercise of his will, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we would be kind would be a kind of first fruit among his creatures. And again, that is James chapter 1, basically verses 2 through 18. Like I said, I skipped 3 verses in the middle there. We'll get to those. But we start with, you want to find joys in your trial, because it's kind of like, because you want to become wise, you want spiritual maturity. You don't want to be spiritually immature. Like we all start there, but then we all have a process. It's kind of like growing up. You know, there's things that you did as kids that as adults you're like, man, why did I ever do that? And it's because you were immature. And it's just because we're all immature at some point in time, and we all have immature moments even in our adult life. So if you're going through a trial, you know that you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get endurance, and you're going to get spiritual maturity. So you know the next time this happens, okay, now you know when the first few trials you go through as you begin your walk with Christ, you don't understand everything, and then some people still in their late walk with Christ have something happen and they get upset about it. But then we should always go back to, no, you know what, this is God saying you need to go to the next level. It's time for you to level up. It's time for you to become more mature. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And then pray for wisdom without doubt, because God when God tells us to ask for stuff, there's sometimes he'll say no, but the one thing he will never say no to is you becoming more wise, because, well, I don't know that he would never say no, but if you say, Lord, give me wisdom in this situation, and then you stay persistent with it, and he will end up giving it to you. And stop doubting. Say, you know what? I know if it's in the Lord's will, this is what's going to happen. Period. Like, no doubt, no questioning. This is what's going to happen. And then the verses I skipped over were about how earthly wealth is temporary and doesn't matter to God. God doesn't care if you're wealthy or poor. Some of the people that God has that will probably get the most gifts in heaven will be some of the poorest people that ever walk the earth. I mean, what's a good example? Like, what's a good example? Well, Matthew's kind of a good example. He was a rich tax collector, and he gave up everything to follow Jesus. And so, and Matthew was much more use for God as following Jesus than just sitting there as a tax collector. But sitting there as a tax collector, he gained more earthly wealth and nothing spiritually. If anything, it was costing him spiritual maturity. But because when Jesus said, "Follow me," and he did, then he became a great use to the Lord. And your trials might test your faith, but they will never be a temptation. It will never. God will allow things to happen, but he will never be the one to tempt you with sin. He will say that you need to grow up, and he'll let you go. Like I said, he'll let you go through a trial, but if you sin, that's on you. Like it's what my next note. Temptation is our own personal desires and lead to sin and death. So it's more about us when it comes to temptation than about the spiritual realm. Yes, the devil might tempt you, but at the same time, the devil can't tempt if there's not already a lust or a desire for whatever it is in your own body. So temptation is more of our failures in our sinful state, and that's part of what we need to correct. That's part of denying yourself. That's part of fasting. And God gives when it comes to what's the best way to say is the gifts that God gives you are like permanent gifts, things that y worldly gifts, sinful gifts, they're very short, very temporary, very fleeting. And any gift that God gives you isn't going to be fleeting unless like you throw it away. But it's meant for you to just have and for you to use correctly. And like I said, it's kind of like the whole, oh, who was it that said this? It was, I don't remember which. It was one of those movie award shows. It's Jim Carrey. He was talking about how, that was his second award and he dreamed about his third one, but then he realized that, being at the top of his industry didn't really gain him anything personally, spiritually. If anything, it cost him. And I think a lot of wealthy people, if they would sit down, they would have that similar thought of, man, all these things that we think are so great in the world, they're fleeting, they're temporary, they don't last. Money doesn't last, power doesn't last, fame doesn't last, popularity doesn't last. None of it lasts. The only thing that lasts is your eternal relationship with God or your eternal non-relationship with God. It's up to you which one you want. All right, y'all. I tried to make this one a little bit faster than normal so that the upload time wouldn't be quite so long. Just in case I forgot to say this at the beginning, when you go into your Bible, this section will be labeled "Testing of Our Faith," and like I said, verses 9 through 11, I kind of get now. It was 9 through 11 was it basically saying that earthly wealth doesn't matter to God even a little bit, not even a little bit, and that's something that we have a hard time. Oh, excuse me. It's something we have a hard time wrapping our heads around, especially as Americans. As Americans, the poorest American is, I don't want to say more wealthy because it's not like you have the amount of gold that like ancient kings had, but we have things they never had, like running water, electricity, phones, computers, internet, all that stuff. I can't remember. I was just going through reels the other day, and it was somebody wanted to bash the USA, and it's like, well, you know what? We probably have homeless people that have nicer phones than other world leaders, and I mean, I know we do some. I mean, because there's some really poor countries out there, and it's really sad. But I forgot if I wanted to add something to that, but I forgot what it was. Oh well. All right, y'all. If this is the first time on one of my videos, if you would, please drop me a follow, hit the like button, share the video. I don't say that just to be a grifter, but if you, as a small creator trying to break into the space, the only way the algorithm even recognizes you at all is if you leave a like and a comment, interact with the video. Because the natural algorithmic push goes to people who are already established or a big business. And that's just, I mean, there's a natural push there. I mean, it's just how life is. So do this for anybody that you enjoy their content and you want them to keep making more. Even if it's a video you have a problem with or you disagree with, still leave them an interaction. That's the best way you can help any content creator outside of prayer. All right, y'all. Like I said, my stream will be live right after this uploads. So if you want to catch me live, go to rumble.com/ragelb. And I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Peace.